everyone, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing another talking video where I was inspired by a couple things that I saw that I was like, wow, that would be an awesome message to share with you all. So I want to go ahead and get into this video talking all about your blooming season. So today's video is actually inspired by a quote that I saw on Instagram this morning, and I follow a lot of pages that post really inspirational quotes and things because I feel as though those are the kind of messages that I want to see on my feed every day. And from the last talk we had about social media and stuff like that on a couple videos ago, you guys know that when it comes to social media, it's all about what you make it. We've talked about this, but I make a point to follow pages that make me feel good. And so I was following a page called All Things 7, and they posted this photo today that really kind of sparked something in me. The quote says, "There is nothing in nature that blooms all year long, so don't expect yourself to do so either." I read that and I was like, oh my gosh, that resonated with me. And that resonated with me because I have been in a season of digging deep and getting better and focusing on the ways that I can get better. So this past few months, I've really been looking at myself as a person, my health as far as working out and eating clean and all that kind of stuff, and trying to, get myself to a place where being healthy and having a healthy lifestyle is just regular, and not being, tempted to go get that donut or eat that piece of cheesecake all the time. So I saw this and I was like, wow, it kind of reminded me of last week when I was telling myself to just give yourself a break. And a lot of times we don't give ourselves a break. We really push ourselves to be whatever we want to be, our goals are. And sometimes that can get pretty heavy and the pressure is a lot. We are our biggest critics, right? And so I was thinking about this idea of a rose. And so I looked online and I was like, how many times of year do roses actually bloom? I know that's a really random question, but this quote brought up the idea of blooming and flowers, and the rose is a flower that a lot of us see as beautiful, as a symbol of love. And so I was looking into it and I found this, I looked on this website and it basically was saying that, some flowers bloom, continuously throughout the year, and other flowers only bloom once a year. And so I was thinking about that and I was like, wow, let's unpack that. Let's look at something from nature and compare it to ourselves, because we as humans are also from nature. And so I was thinking about this idea of flowers blooming, and I was reading more into it. And basically what happens to a repeat bloomer, which is a rose that blooms, continuously throughout the year, is that the rose blooms, okay? It has a stem, and the stem is where the bud comes of the flower, and then once the flower blooms, it becomes what we see, this gorgeous, full of life, colorful, delicate, beautiful thing. And so I was reading up on it, and it says that for every new flower to bloom, you have to cut off the old flower, right? And I was like, wow, what does that mean for me? And so it goes back to the idea that in order for us to be our better versions of ourselves, we have to let go of the old. We can't hold on to every single little thing from our past and bring it into our future. We have to let go of that dead weight. So I see myself and I see us as people, as repeat bloomers. We are continuously working with the same stem, our temples, our bodies, and we continuously are reblooming ourselves into better versions of ourselves. And as life goes on, the idea would be that we continuously get better, right? You don't want to ever think that, 10 years from now, I'm going to be the same person that I am today, because that would be kind of sad to think that I never grew any more than where I am right now as a person. So one thing you have to recognize is that even when you do feel great and amazing about yourself, understand that that's not going to be that all the time. You're not going to feel amazing and great and super proud of yourself all the time. You're in bloom season when you're feeling proud of yourself, when you're feeling happy, when you finally got down to your goal weight, you finally grew your hair to your goal length, and you're happy. That's your bloom season, right? But it would be naive of us to think anything natural, as you and I are, that anything natural would stay in bloom forever. That's not true. That's not how life works. We learn to appreciate the bloom season because we know what it's like not to be in that bloom season. And not being in bloom season doesn't mean that you're not happy. It doesn't mean that you're not still doing and growing, because you are. It's more important to work on yourself and grow when you're in that stem stage, when that bloom season hasn't come yet and you're preparing, right? Just the same way as a rose prepares, the stem prepares that bloom process for you to become the beautiful flower that you are. You have to work on the foundation. You have to work on the inside, right? So I challenge you to think about the ways that you are working on your bloom season, working towards your bloom season. You know, stop thinking that your bloom season has to be 24/7, 365. Because it's not. And I have to tell myself the same things, because sometimes, you know, especially doing what I do, being on social media all the time and posting pictures all the time, you know, it's hard not to feel like I have to be in bloom season all the time. I have to be in bloom season all the time. It's a lot of pressure to be in bloom season all the time. But when I think about it in the way that that quote initially said, was to think that a flower isn't in bloom season all the time. Why do you think you should be in bloom season all the time? It's not realistic. It's just not. So what do we do then? Does that mean that we can only be happy with ourselves in bloom season? No, that's not what that means. What it means is to stop thinking that you can only be happy in bloom season. You can also be happy when it's not bloom season. When you know that, you know what? Right now, I'm in my preparing phase. I'm in my working on the next bloom phase. And that's exciting because one bloom is never the same as the other. So as you continue to bloom and blossom as a person, those triumphs and those goals change over your lifetime, right? When we're 5 and we just finished our first year of kindergarten, wow, our world is amazing. We're on top of the world. We are just everything because we finished kindergarten. That is the biggest life moment at that time. That is our bloom season as a 5-year-old or 4-year-old, is graduating kindergarten, right? But guess what? I don't want to be a 5-year-old kindergarten graduate forever. I want to move on to bigger and better things. I want to blossom more. I want to bloom more. And so as we go through life, different things that happen and different goals we work towards become those next bloom seasons. Focus on your stem. Focus on your bud and focus on your blossomed rose, because that is who you are. One rose cannot change the process of blooming of another rose. The roses that only bloom once a year, they don't even function or think of the continuous bloomer right next to them, because they're on 2 different paths. They are on 2 different paths. So even if you feel like you may be like that once a year, I put on my beat face, that once a year I get my hair done, you are still beautiful in that, because that is your path. You don't have to be somebody who gets glammed up every day to be beautiful. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you all enjoyed this message and this video. I really appreciate all of the love you guys send me on a regular basis. I'm so glad you guys enjoyed the last vlog. Yes, y'all, side note, I got teary-eyed as I was editing that last part about Simone, because I just felt super emotional, because we're growing up and we're having babies and I'm gonna be an auntie and she's gonna be a mama. Like, I can't even deal. If you got teary-eyed on that part, you are not alone, because I was literally editing on the plane, trying not to bawl in tears next to this random man I'm sitting next to and looking like crazy. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching that vlog and sticking with me just in general. You guys know it's so appreciated. And until next time, I will talk to you guys later. Stay blessed and have a good one.